All right, so I made $32,000 today trading, and the only trade that I actually took today was a losing trade. You might be like, how is this even possible? Well, that's because I aim to hold trades for multiple days, sometimes weeks, and sometimes even months. So my losers are like really, really small, right? And then my winners, I hold them out as long as possible, and that's what makes me all the money. So I can basically try like 5 to 10 different trades, right, for example, and if those don't work, it doesn't really matter because I'm only risking a very small amount, but the ones that do work, they keep running for weeks and sometimes even months. All right, so I'm going to show you guys my current positions and just kind of go over everything right now. So the one that's making me the most money today is Open. I've actually bought this twice. Now, when it comes to analyzing a stock, what I'm looking for is I look at the daily chart here. So this is like my charting platform. This is called TC2000. To actually place the trades, I got to do it on my broker, which is called Webull. So it would look like this. Like I would have TC2000 right here, and then I'd have Webull up right here, and then in the background of my Discord. If you guys want to check that out, I'll have this linked in my bio. It's basically where I post all my trades, so you can see like all my buys and sells. Today I bought this thing, CRDO. I'll show you that trade, but this is a losing trade. Very low risk on that one. And I'll tell you guys like when I'm going to sell stuff, keep you updated, all that stuff. Anyways, Open is my biggest position. So when I'm looking at a stock, right, let's go back to that. What I'm looking for is I'm looking at the daily chart right here. So I have the 10, 20, 50, and 200 simple moving average. I have the volume down here. Now that's pretty much all I'm looking for. In terms of how do I analyze a stock? Well, I look at the daily chart and I also look at the hourly chart. The hourly chart to me is just kind of like a magnifying glass for the daily chart. We can see the exact same thing happening right there. It's just there's a lot more candles here. It's more zoomed in. And when it comes to looking at a stock on the daily chart, what I want to see is relative strength. I want to see that a stock is significantly stronger than the rest of the stocks in the market. Most people don't really understand this concept. They're like, oh, you wait for it to make this giant move up. This thing went up 900%. What, is it just going to pull back and fall down from here? Well, no, not exactly. So what I want to see is that big initial move. This can be anywhere from 30%, and beyond. Obviously, in this case, it's like 900%. Like that's fucking insane. Super, super strong stock, and it pulls back. I want to see it pull back to the moving averages and have an orderly pullback. So it pulls back to the 10 here, drops down to the 20 here, but then started putting in higher lows towards the end. Overall, it was actually putting in lower lows like from here, so I didn't really like it as much. But when it turned around right here, I just noticed you're just looking at me in the reflection. That's kind of funny. But then when it turns around right here, we can see, it comes back up above the moving averages and tightens up right here. We have these 2 days where it tightens up a lot. If we look at the hourly on it, we can see, this thing was tightening up a ton and the volume was getting really low right there. Look at how low that volume is relative to all of this previous volume. And then it tightened up a ton right there. So as soon as it started to break through here, that is when I bought it. Now, if you want to be safe, you would wait for it to break this previous day high. So if I click right there, we can see the high is this wick right there. I don't remember if I waited all the way for that, but that would basically, if I'm buying it there and my stop loss is at the low of the day,